Well, it's been an exciting day so far. Well, I guess we're probably not going to be doing ball joints today, considering I just broke the lift. See the cable hanging down there? Well, it's supposed to run over a bunch of wheels up top on both sides. And as I was lifting this old heavy mule, she snapped and the truck fell about a foot roughly. And so nothing broke, nothing bad. I mean, it sucks, but it is what it is. So yeah, I guess I gotta fix that before I can do anything. So I'm gonna have to figure all that out now, because yeah, that's a no bueno. I don't know where to get another wheel, which is weird because they have plastic wheels on those lifts, or on those rollers up there. So I will get back to everybody on this, and this one just might have to go in sooner than later. We'll talk soon. So back out at the shop here. The other day we were going to do ball joints on the front of my truck, and the pulley sheared off my lift for the tensioner cables. So I went to Fleet Farm, found some cables, or not cables, I'm sorry, some pulleys, and we made them work. We had to weld center bushings in the center, and deburr it a little bit, and she slid right on, and the cable rides in there just as it should. So we got that all fixed now back up there, and yeah, so everything's riding like it should. Now I just got to adjust the tension on it so that it lifts evenly. Anywho, so now instead of doing my truck like I wanted, we're pulling apart the parts Volvo. We pulled it inside here. It's been sitting outside for a while. So we're going to pull this apart and start getting parts transferred. I already pulled the door because I needed the door for mine. Mine got hit and caved in the door. The hood, mine has a bunch of hail damage on it. I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not. You really can't. But mine has a bunch of hail damage on it. I'm undecided whether I want to just throw it away or keep it. I don't know. But I took the other hood off, which has vents already cut out for, or in it. I have the vent plates for it, which will allow the engine compartment to breathe a little better and not hold so much heat in the engine compartment. The other thing we're doing is we're going to take the trunk lid and get rid of our dinner table here. So we're going to take that off and put a clean trunk lid on. Then I want to take all of the paintable trim on this Volvo and transfer everything over to mine. I'll have to find a few parts here and there because some stuff is broken, but it is what it is. That's why it's a parts car. Take what I can and then buy what I can't, or what I don't have. So there's lots of parts on this car that I got to take to repair, because it's a lot of piddly stuff over the years that people haven't replaced on this car, and like the high beam switch. The high beam, when you bring the high beams back, the multifunction switch, it doesn't like to click back. Once in a great while it stays. Most of the time it don't. So this one has a good one in it. I'm going to take it and put it in here. My sunroof opens and it does the tilt function and whatever, the vent function. However, when it starts to come back, it only goes back about halfway, and then something in the track stops it. So I'm going to pull everything out of this one and put it into this one. And then I'll pull the interior and stuff like that. And my goal is that we're going to have this painted before Automotion here in Wisconsin. So we'll have this painted, ready to go. It'll look good. And then at that point, it's next winter is the engine. I'll be tearing it apart and putting a lot more go fast parts in it. But yeah, I mean, a lot of this year is a lot of the content I'm going to bring you soon is going to be all suspension work, body work, painting, pretty much anything to get the car ready for the season. And then, yeah, so we're going to get all this stuff ready to rock and roll. I'm going to get this lift adjusted quick here. And so that way we can lift the car up and down and be able to pull stuff off. So I look forward to seeing you guys soon, or talking to you soon. What's up, guys? So we're back again after a short pause in my video. We've got the cam cover off, we got the cams out, the intake's off. And so what I like to personally do is like this stuff right here, you know, being that this car is junk, all these pigtail, I'll show you here. All these pigtails and everything right here. So what I like to do is I snip them off, because if you mess up one of your pigtails on your car, at least you got one to fall back on. You can rewire in and you know, be back on the road. So all these parts I'm keeping. So the cam sensors, the cam oilers, the starter, alternator, pretty much any sensor that I can get off of this thing I'm keeping. I'm keeping the head. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send it in and I'm going to have it worked and be all brand new, so that way it's all good to go. So I want to have it all ported and polished, and you know, maybe put some bigger valves in it and stuff like that. Anything pretty much that I can do to give it some more oomph in the top end, well, in the motor in general, by sending the head in and having it ported and polished with bigger valves and everything in it, new valve seats, you're letting the motor breathe better, which in return gives you more horsepower. So that's what I'm going to do with this head here. I'm going to have everything gasket matched and port matched, and you know, I might see about going slightly bigger on the oilers, if it's possible. I don't know, because if you have more of an oil supply, it's not going to hurt nothing. You know, so anyways, in order to get this valve cover off here, the cam cover, it's kind of a pain. There's about 200 bolts. Now I'm exaggerating a little bit, but there's a lot of bolts in this thing. There's at least 30 of them. I didn't realize it, but there are no retainers, cam retainers, that you got to pull off after the cam cover is off. The cam cover is actually the cam retainer, which is kind of cool because I didn't know that. So in order to do that, it's kind of a pain, but it's nice because you can take the cams right out of it. So yeah, anyways, I'm going to be pulling the head here and figuring out, seeing if it's savable. It should be. But I want to see, so this motor ended up taking a crap on the guy, and I'd really like to see why it puked. So I'm hoping that when we get this head off of here, we can actually see what's going on in the lower end, see how the pistons are and everything, because this thing had a severe knock. So I'd really like to get it apart and see exactly why it's knocking. So I'll be back with more. I'm gonna get this head off of here and then I'll start filming again. So we'll see you guys shortly. All right, guys. So I got the head off here, and this motor has a little more work than what I thought it had done. I didn't realize that this motor was ever apart, but it had been. This block is all shimmed. I don't know about the lower end yet, but I can tell you that it was smacking the valves. The pistons were smacking the valves. So I don't know if they had it timed right or not. I'm not sure. However, now that I see the cylinder walls are all good, I'm going to take this block completely out of this car, and I'm going to put it on the stand, and I'm going to have a little change of course here. So I'm going to build this motor while it's on the stand, while that one's still drivable. That way I can upgrade everything that I want to upgrade. Pistons, valves. I want to go to an H-beam rod. New lifters, pretty much anything I can put into this thing to make it better. I'm going to make it better. I want more power. I want it to breathe better. I want it to flow better. So I'm probably looking anywhere in the I don't know, probably $8,000 mark roughly by the time it's done, if not a little more. But that's new turbo, new injectors, new pistons, new bearings, new piston rings, literally everything. And so I might be over my budget. I might be undercutting myself pretty far. However, my personal opinion, I want to try it. You know, worst case scenario, it blows up, and then we're going to go to a different block, a closed deck block. For you that don't know the difference between an open deck and a closed deck, so this block here is an open deck. These are coolant passages around the cylinders to allow cooling around the cylinders. So they have factory, Volvo had slits in here, which when you push more power, it allows this cylinder to move around. So by shimming it, it holds it a little sturdier, allows you to have a little more power without shifting of the cylinders. So yeah, so we're going to get this motor out now, I guess, which means I'm probably just going to drop the whole subframe on it, because personally that just is a little easier. So yeah, at that point I have everything as far as the engine compartment goes, because I shouldn't need anything else out of this engine compartment. I don't need a fuse block. I don't need the brake reservoir. I don't need any of that. Mine's all good. And if that stuff goes bad, personally, I would rather put new on. You know, I like to keep extra starters and alternators and stuff like that around, because when the stuff does puke out, some of that stuff is kind of pricey depending on the vehicle. So I like to keep it around, and if it pukes, I got one. I just bring it in here, put it on my hoist, change it out, good to go. So I'm a firm believer in having spare parts. You know, sometimes it creates more of a headache than what it's worth. But being that I have the same vehicles, I have, you know, all these different parts, you know, like my pickup trucks. I have two of the exact, well, I have four of the same trucks. But I have one that I'm tearing apart right now, which is the parts for all of them. So the hubs, the brakes, the suspension, all the engine components, anything that I can use off of that motor, I'm going to keep and put on the shelf. In the long run, it just saves me money. And if I decide to sell them and get rid of them, I'll send the parts with them. or sell them, and if I don't sell them, well, then I'll junk them. I don't care. But yeah, so anyways, the head looks okay. However, it's not as clean as I want it to be, so I'll be having that all tore apart and reworked. I'm going to try to shave the head a few thousandths, get a little better compression in it, and we'll go from there. But it's I want to have everything ported and polished, and I want it to breathe. I want it to flow. More flow means more power. So yeah. All right, well, I'm gonna keep going, guys, so we'll see you soon.